Super Bowl 58 is on Sunday, and it's the Super Bowl, so as an American, I kind of feel like I'm contractually obligated to be excited for it. But it's the Super Bowl matchup that I didn't really want, and I got a strange feeling you didn't really want it either.
Yeah, not the one I wanted at all, but at least I got a team to root for. I'm rooting for the Chiefs hard because I hate the Niners, so I can hate watch it a bit. But yeah, it wasn't the teams I wanted to see. I gotta be honest.
And I don't think it was the teams the world wanted to see either. Before we start talking about the Super Bowl, if you haven't already, make sure to leave this video a like, give us a subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on one of our videos. And if you guys want to see us talk football more, let us know in the comments. We're experimenting a little bit this week, and hey, if you guys like us talking football, we'd love to do it more often. I know you saw the title, and obviously there are people who are excited about this Super Bowl. Chiefs fans, Niners fans, Nick Wright, the Swifties, probably NFL executives, but I feel like the wider sporting community just isn't really feeling this matchup.
I mean, people wanted to see Lamar and the Ravens, like Lamar finally get over that hump. He's now going to get his second MVP. Just kind of like a likable guy, especially he's dealt with like the contract issues. He's dealt with people saying, oh, is he good enough at passing to get to the Super Bowl?
People calling him a running back.
Yeah, people calling him a running back. Like, it would have been nice to see. And then even more so, the Lions, kind of just known as like the Charlotte Hornets of the NFL.
Yeah.
Just a laughing stock. It would have been so nice to see them in the Super Bowl, especially with how bad the Pistons are playing. It would have been great to see them win the Super Bowl. So yeah, definitely not the teams people really wanted, but I'm also not really surprised at the end of the day.
Yep, we get the Chiefs and the 49ers, and the Niners, of course, you're the Seahawks fan of the group, so I'm sure you're over the moon that they're in another Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, at least they haven't won it yet. I mean, I've watched them lose too, so if I watch them lose another, I'm honestly going to be happy about it, but I'm a bit nervous. I do not want to see them win a Super Bowl.
For me, I don't really have any hate against the 49ers. It's just one of those classic instances where success breeds contempt. I mean, they've been in 4 NFC Championship games, 2 Super Bowls since 2019. Like, I really wanted to see the Lions in the Super Bowl. I mean, Dan Campbell is maybe the most likable coach in the entire NFL. I mean, I would run through a brick wall for that, man. You got Jared Goff, who turned his career around after the Rams dumped him. And the fact that the Lions, I mean, they hadn't hosted a home playoff game since 1991, and they had never even made the Super Bowl. But no, we got to watch the 49ers again.
It would have been great to see. I would have loved to see it for Jared Goff, but it wasn't going to happen. And on the other side, you got the Chiefs. You want to talk about dominance. 6 straight AFC Championship games. They're 4 Super Bowls since 2019. And there's not really a ton to hate on them personnel-wise. I mean, I'm sure some people hate Kelsey, Mahomes, but there's also the Taylor Swift thing that's popped up. A lot of people are pissed off by that. I personally don't really care. But it's that classic thing. You either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become a villain. Like, they're the modern-day Patriots in some way. Not as dislikable in my opinion, but they're just so good you kind of end up hating them.
Well, they're not cheaters yet.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
The Pats are cheaters, and that's the thing. It's like everyone wanted them to beat the Patriots in 2018.
Yeah, I sure as hell did.
And now everyone wanted the Ravens to beat them in the AFC Championship game. The Taylor Swift stuff, like, I kind of get the hate on one level. As a college football fan, I feel like we kind of went through the same thing with Deion a little bit, where like they're both bringing a bunch of casual fans to the product who don't understand it, and they're talking all this shit. Like all the Deion fans were like, oh, we're gonna beat Oregon, we're gonna beat SC. Yeah, sure you are. And now you got all the Swifties coming in who don't really understand the game. They're just there for Taylor. And also I feel like the NFL is very much overexposed Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. And if you overexpose your audience to something, they will eventually turn against it. I will say though, the hate that Taylor gets at games when she's just being a fan.
Yeah.
Like she's just cheering like any fan in that stadium would, and people are just tweeting about how quote unquote annoying she is. I'm like, if a 50-year-old truck driver without a shirt on was doing the exact same thing she is, people would be like, this is awesome. Like this is what true fandom is. But because it's Taylor Swift, now it's a problem apparently.
I don't even know. I don't really get it. They show her for like 24 seconds. I mean, they'll talk it up a little bit, but even then, people need to get over themselves. It's really not that big of a deal. And yeah, more people are coming in. You're going to get more casuals or people just saying whatever, but it helps grow the game. So I think it's a win-win, honestly.
So the game itself, it might not be the game we wanted, but it's the game we got. So how do these two teams match up? Well, the 49ers, they're definitely the more balanced team. They're basically excellent at every position group except their offensive line. And even still, it's pretty good. And they have arguably the best left tackle in the entire league. The only question mark for their team is really their quarterback.
Yeah, and even then, if you just looked at numbers alone, it shouldn't be a question mark because Brock Purdy threw for over 4,000 yards, 31 touchdowns, completed nearly 70% of his passes, led the league in QBR, but nobody, kind of including myself, really seems to trust him. And there's a couple reasons for that. First of all, he was the last pick in the draft, so he doesn't have this like high profile of a big pick. The other part of it, he's gotten that game manager kind of role put on him, kind of by Cam Newton. Do you think that's a fair place to put him as a game manager, or is he more than that?
The problem is it's so hard to tell because he very much feels like a college quarterback at like a powerhouse school, like a USC or Ohio State or Alabama, who just has like a superstar team around him. Like, it's not to the level of like a Matt Leinart when he was at SC, but Matt Leinart has talked about this when he left SC. He was like, I had everything. I had Reggie Bush, I had Pete Carroll, I had all these great players, and then I got to the NFL and I didn't have that. Purdy has an infinitely better supporting cast, like relative to the league at the 49ers than he did at Iowa State.
I mean, my thing with Purdy, he has everything. Kyle Shanahan, maybe the best offensive mind right now, or at least he's up there. Christian McCaffrey, best running back in the league, one of the best all time. Ayuk and Deebo Samuel, and then you got George Kittle. Like, compare that to what Mahomes has. The only thing Mahomes has on him is he has Kelsey, and that's about it. The weapons he has are just ridiculous.
And so far in the playoffs, like, he's looked good, if unremarkable. I mean, against the Lions, he did have some clutch throws and he did have some clutch runs to keep the Niners ahead in that game. But I feel like that comeback was more about the Lions really shooting themselves in the foot than the Niners really making all these great plays.
Yeah, and that ridiculous play where it bounced off that dude's helmet.
Yeah.
You caught that. So some luck mixed in there too, but hey, you got the comeback, you got it done. That's all you can do as a quarterback.
And on the flip side, it's like, look at the NFC Championship game last year against the Eagles when Purdy was hurt. The Niners had 164 yards total.
Yeah, they were terrible.
And they got blasted by the Eagles.
And on the other side, the Chiefs, we're kind of used to them having this explosive offense like in years past, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Mahomes. But this year, it's actually been their defense which has stepped up and been the main contributor for the team. Even then, Mahomes, he's had a down year for his standards, but he still threw for over 4,000 yards, completed 67% of his passes, threw 27 touchdowns, which is his fewest since 2019, and 14 interceptions. That's a career high, but no one in their right mind is going to say there's a better quarterback right now than Mahomes.
And also, Mahomes' passing stats being down are not exactly all on him. I mean, he's still got Kelsey, and Kelsey's still probably the best tight end in the NFL, but KC's receiving core, I mean, led the NFL in drops, led them in drop percentage, and there have been times even this year where Mahomes, who is about as composed on the field as you can possibly get, there have been times where even he's gotten pissed.
Well, he's dealing with Kadarius Toney, who's accusing the Chiefs of lying about him being hurt. That's just a whole nother issue, but at least the receivers, I'll give them some credit. Maybe it's just Mahomes making the right play. The drops in the playoffs have gone down significantly.
I was going to say, Marquez Valdes-Scantling, who was getting cooked during the regular season, he had that big catch at the end of the game to beat the Ravens. They've been better, but they're going to need to be a lot better against the 49ers. The Chiefs' rushing attack also, it's not anything to write home about. I mean, it's not awful. They were 19th in the NFL in rushing during the regular season. It's gotten better in the playoffs. I mean, Pachenko is great. They might get Jerick McKinnon back, so, you know, maybe they could get a little better, but this team ain't going to run to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, really, like I said at the beginning, it's their defense, surprisingly, that's been really good for them. But another issue for them, turnovers have been a big problem. The AFC Championship game against the Ravens, the first time they won the turnover battle since week 6 against the Broncos. You know, Ross was throwing ducks out there.
That's fucking crazy to me. The fact that they've been winning in spite of not necessarily losing the turnover battle, but not actively winning. I mean, that's like the number one rule of football.
It is.
Like, you lose the turnover battle, you're going to lose games. Not the Chiefs somehow.
I mean, the defense, they haven't allowed more than 27 points in a game this season. They were second in NFL in opponents' yards, second in sacks. You know, they got Chris Jones handling it up front. So the defense, it doesn't get a lot of turnovers. It's not a bend but don't break defense. It's just a don't don't bend defense.
I was going to say, it feels weird, but the fact that they only have 17 takeaways in the regular season, it weirdly enough makes me more confident in them.
Yeah, I agree.
Because they're doing it the hard way. They're doing it up front. They're not just relying on getting timely turnovers. The Chiefs as a whole, I mean, they definitely have more question marks than the 49ers, but I mean, they still have Pat Mahomes and Andy Reid. And I mean, it feels like people keep trying to bet against them. You know, first it was going to be, all the Bills will finally get him this year. And then Lamar and the Ravens will get him. And now it's like, I mean, can the 49ers get him?
I mean, it's one of those things where you can't bet against an elite coach, an elite quarterback in a Super Bowl. Like, I know as a Seahawks fan, I thought in 2014 the Seahawks were the better team than the Patriots. I think a lot of people would agree, but Tom Brady, he just always found a way to win. And Mahomes and Andy Reid are kind of the same, outnumbered, outmanned. They just find a way to win somehow.
So overall, you just give the big spiel about how Mahomes and Andy Reid, they find a way to win every time. So are they winning?
They are. I am nervous.
Okay.
Like I said, I do not want to see the 49ers win. That would be an awful day for me. The 49ers are favored, as much as people want to say, oh, Mahomes is going to get it done. But I think he does get it done. I think it's a very close game. Maybe it's a 3-point game, 4-point game, a 27-24. But the Chiefs escape and they win another Super Bowl.
I'm gonna bet against Mahomes and Andy Reid.
Wow.
I'm taking Brock Purdy and the 49ers. Now, I don't think Purdy is gonna blow us all away with his performance. I think he's gonna be 23 of 35 for 240 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception.
Okay.
But I think McCaffrey is gonna have a great game. I think Purdy is gonna make timely plays. I think he's gonna do exactly what he did against the Lions, make a timely throw, timely first down run. It's hard to bet against Mahomes and the Chiefs. I just think the Niners are the better team.
Yeah, it kind of felt like the entire season the 49ers were going to win. Like, since the beginning of the year, we've just heard the 49ers, this is their year. They finally get it done, a full year of McCaffrey. So I wouldn't be surprised, but I'm just praying, Mahomes, please come up big for me. Do not let me live through this.
I just need a little bit of friend group drama on Sunday. I need to see Ben depressed as hell that the 49ers have finally got over the hump.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
That's the video, guys. Who do you got in the Super Bowl on Sunday? I'd love to hear what you have to say in the comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like, as it really does help us out. And while you're here, why not check out some of our other videos as well? And don't forget to subscribe to Synthetic Sports.